Hello there again and welcome. Ryan Nordahl here with Epic Whitetail Habitat LLC. Today I want to talk about setting up and hunting a property right. You know, when it comes to food plots, I absolutely love food plots. I've been doing food plots here on our property since 2011, 2012 is when I first started breaking ground here on this property. And when it comes to food plots, it's more than just food plots. It's more than breaking ground, putting seed in the ground, watching it grow, and providing a green food source during the fall, late fall into early winter. It's a balance for year-round attraction deer, and it all comes down to your hunting strategy. It's not just about habitat improvements. It all culminates into having a successful hunt due to in combination with your hunting strategies, how you're accessing your property, how stealthy you are in your hunts, the amount of woody browse there is available, the amount of thick thermal cover there is available to the deer on your property as well. You know, I walk into so many properties and the first thing I see is this big open savanna of oak, maple, red maple, silver maple, whatever it might be. And you can see 100, maybe even in some cases 200 yards through a property. And a lot of people like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with managing your forest, you know, for board feet. I'm not here to manage trees though. I'm here to manage deer and give deer everything they want. I don't want the term nocturnal to ever come up on my property. And I hear it so often. There is no such thing as a nocturnal deer. They're showing up on your property nocturnal, you know, whatever time, 11 p.m., midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning before you get to your stands. They're showing up on your property because, number one, of the hunting pressure you're putting on your property during the hunting season. We all have that favorite stand. I understand it. I do too. But you can overhunt that stand. It is a very true fact that you can overhunt and overpressure your favorite hunting stand. Every stand I have on this property, I think I have close to 10, maybe 12 different stands on this 80 acres. And every one of them is my favorite hunting stand for the right wind directions, whether it's a morning sit, whether it's an afternoon sit, early season, into the rut, late season sit. I love food plots. I don't know anybody who doesn't love planting food plots. I enjoy it. I enjoy it throughout the summertime, managing my food plots, managing the weeds, you know, adding fertilizer when necessary. But it's more than just food plots. It's planting that screening to hide my movements during hunting season, to separate deer family groups in our larger food plots, to give deer security from each other as well as human pressure. Hunting my land only when the time is right, time and conditions are right. Hunting those stands when the wind is right for that particular stand that I want to hunt in accordance to my trail camera data. Deer love thick cover, and deer need woody browse. Deer eat 5 times during a 24-hour period. 2 of those times are in daylight hours in their bedding areas. I want that browse in that thick bedding area to be on my property. What am I doing? I'm hinge cutting on my property. It works here on my property. It's not for every property to create hinge cut bedding areas. It's not. But it works for us on my 3 properties that I hunt. The 80 here, it would work great where my home is if I had trees to hinge cut. I do have a few trees that I can hinge cut. I do have some box elder on my home property, that is. On my brother's dairy farm, which is 2 miles to the north of here, hinge cutting works great in some of those areas as well. It's a monoculture of 19-year-old silver maple. There's some cherry in there, and there is some elm coming in there. Not the most desirable when it comes to timber value. And it's becoming a monoculture where you can just go in, there's There's no room for blackberry briars, raspberries, anything like that to provide adequate woody browse at deer level. So we've gone into those areas a few years ago and we hinge cut, and now we have tremendous browse at deer level, creating excellent deer separation within the bedding pockets in those hinge cut bedding areas. And it's the same here on this property as well. We're using terrain features to block our access, to screen our access into our stands. We're using conifers to screen our access as well, to add thermal cover in the hinge cut bedding areas that we provide for deer as well. There's many different things that create a balance. We're adding water holes between food and between bedding on those travel corridors. We're seeding down our travel corridors so as deer are traveling from their bedding areas to our food plots, they can stop and get little niblets. And we're set up on those areas between food and bedding in a lot of our tree stand locations during bow season. And we're being provided those ultimate shots. The buck I shot in 2018, Captain Hook, he hit water coming into our travel corridor between food and bedding, catching that quick drink early in the morning before he slipped off to his bed. But it's a balance. It's not just about food plots. It's not just about bedding areas. It's not just about travel corridors. It's about a balance with all the ingredients that literally can make your property into that 5-star hotel, providing everything a deer wants and needs, especially the 3 basic needs: food, water, and security. Shelter, basically, and providing those daylight movement activities during the hunting season on this property. Our property never used to be that way. Our hunting pressure, deer are conditioned to our presence over hunting this property. It's 80 acres. We're not blowing up through the center anymore, especially early in the season. We're hunting the outer edges, catching those deer coming back in the morning, catching them leaving as they go out at night to the ag fields that are around, playing the wind. Again, not accessing stand through our existing logging roads. We're creating trails around the outside of the property to access our movements, to access our stands. And we play the wind. What stand is right for this wind direction? How much of our property and how much of a risk is it to go to this stand in this wind with our wind blowing into a bedding area? We take all those factors into consideration. We all want to hunt when we have the time. There's no question about it. But the smaller your property is, the more disciplined you have to be to hunt when the time is right, using screening, using the terrain as screening if you possibly can. We have a lot of elevation to our advantage here on this property as well, where our wind can blow into some dead areas where we know that deer aren't going to be during the hunting season. You know, we own this land for a variety of things. That's why we bought this property. In the winter months after hunting season, my dad and my uncle are back here cutting, any oak wilt trees that there are for firewood. Throughout the spring and summer, into very early fall, perhaps sometimes, we're back here setting tree stands, creating mock scrapes, managing our food plots, doing whatever we can back here, coming back here with the kids, just going for a walk and a hike. It's not going to influence our deer herd during the off season, during the season between the last day of hunting season from the previous year to the first day of hunting season this year in 2020. We're going to keep our pressure off of here after August 15th. I don't want any activity back here, and we're only hunting our property when the time is right. And it all comes in a flow. And we've created our circle. We have our destination food plot in the middle with our little kill plots and travel corridors around the outside with strategically placed stand placements for wind direction, morning hunts, afternoon hunts, rut hunts, where we're getting a little bit deeper into the property, getting closer to that primary food source, that destination food plot, before they exit at night. Catching them coming back in the mornings, especially early season. I love catching them coming back in the early season, coming back to their bedding areas, through the travel corridors, on the downwind sides, bedding areas. It's absolutely fun. It all comes together on this property, and it can for you as well. I want you to have success. I want you to have more success than I do. If you ever want to visit my property, get a hold of me. I'd gladly bring you out here for a tour. Things are young, things are still a work in progress, but that's what it's all about. Nothing is ever done. When you have such a big goal and you set such a high standard, the goals are never going to be met, but it's the little implementations every single day, every single year that we implement on this property. We're constantly learning. We keep an open mind. Yes, I do follow other habitat managers throughout the country, just to grasp ideas. It's called keeping an open mind. I don't know it all. I never will know it all. About keeping an open mind, hunting successfully, hunting strategically, and hunting smart. You can have the best habitat in the entire world on your property, but if you hunt it sloppy, you're not going to have very good success. I'm not saying you won't kill a mature buck, but your odds go down and down and down throughout the hunting season. I walk into a lot of properties where they see a lot of deer in the beginning of the season, and it slowly dwindles down, picks up a little bit during the rut, but continues to slow down as you get into rifle season at the end of November here in Wisconsin, and as we get into late season during bow season into January. And then absolutely zero deer on the property as they get into the late winter months, because there is no food, there isn't adequate shelter as far as thermal cover goes. It's a balance of everything if you want to provide the deer what they need 365 days a year. Again, love and appreciate you all. Give this video a like and a share if something resonated with you. Love and appreciate you all for following me. Thanks, and happy hunting. Thank you.